It's the time of year when the Oscar nominations are announced. Film buffs from all over the world tend to watch the entire duration of each of the nominations, and that includes me. This year was pretty good. Most studios delayed their movies from 2020 to 2021, mostly due to cinema closures, resulting in a large selection of mostly critically impressive movies being released towards the end of 2021. Let's take a look at the Best Picture nominations for the 2022 Oscars, which is tomorrow. I'm a bit late with this one, and see what we have. First of all, we have Belfast, a story of a boy coming of age in the tumultuous 1960s Belfast. The unrest between Catholicism and Protestantism. It looks, when it's written down, it looks like it says Protestantism. Those damn ants. Protestantism was growing to a dangerous level. Unusually, the main focus of the film is the family dynamic. The background plot is there, hitting all the fairly generic notes an Oscar film usually does, but the detailed and authentic characters making the family unit is what makes the film special. It's a wonderful character study in a mediocre movie. This would be due to the director Kenneth Branagh being a legendary character director, originally coming from theatre and moving on to Shakespeare adaptations, so the focus on the acting was inevitable. Everything else is just okay, so I give it a 68 out of 100. The second film is CODA. A teen girl that can sing fairly well has to decide whether she wants to pursue a singing career or stay to help her deaf family and their trawling venture. The deaf family can't hear her sing, so they don't know her talent. I would compare this film to watching a contestant tell a sad story on Britain's Got Talent. If you love your emotions being forcefully tugged, then you'll like this movie. The realistic acting from the deaf family makes the sob story so genuine, but it doesn't make the film good. In my eyes, this is the worst of all the nominations this year. The film is akin to The Fault in Our Stars and Pitch Perfect when considering its style and content. CODA is cinematically mediocre. You have scenes where the script must have said, "Boy jumps into water, girl jumps into water, they play on a log, they kiss and smile." What vomit-worthy dirge. It's so incredibly safe. A bit of feel-good here, a bit of angry acting there. This film does as much for cinema as a single sardine does for fish. I hated it. 50 out of 100. If you are wondering which two films should have been nominated this year, they would be The French Dispatch and Spencer. The French Dispatch is the best film of the year and tells three creative and astounding stories from the writers of the magazine. The script is jam-packed with clever quips and obscure references, while the style is so particular and experimental. The French Dispatch pushes the notion of what can be achieved in a single film, unlike CODA. Spencer, on the other hand, was an unexpected psychological thriller. It's an accurate, if maybe overdramatic, portrayal of Lady Diana while she stayed with the royal family. The film feels very claustrophobic and distressing, with royal family traditions suffocating her and the audience. Prince Charles is an excellent villain. It achieves a lot, substance and stylistically, for such a small movie, unlike CODA. So a nomination would have also been deserved. Let's continue and see what else was nominated. Moving on to the third movie, which is the Adam McKay directed end-of-the-world comedy Don't Look Up. A comet approaches Earth for a likely annihilation. Meanwhile, the scientists that located the comet are trying to get the world to listen to them. Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio star as the two scientists. while Meryl Streep appears as the US president. I found the film very entertaining. The jokes hit every time, and satirically, from my perspective, it nails the social zeitgeist superbly. At the same time, it's way too long and the editing is bad. There are characters, subplots, and scenes that should be cut for a smoother and more compact experience. Ultimately, I found Don't Look Up to achieve its entertainment goal, which is subjective, without achieving its critical goal, which is what should be important when considering Best Picture. I would have given it an 83 out of 100 because I laughed a lot, but I'm lowering it to a 75. That's more accurate as a total score. The fourth nomination is Ryuichi Hamaguchi's Drive My Car. The film follows a theatre director after his wife's passing, as he stages a play of Uncle Vanya in Hiroshima. This is not your standard film. We follow a guy for an extended period of time and things happen. That's it, yet it's a unique and constantly compelling experience. It's a 3-hour movie that is so extremely contemplative? I'm not sure. And thought-provoking, with powerful yet subtle actions and reactions that most movie critics should drive their car to see this movie again and again. Allowing foreign films in the Best Film category at the American Academy Awards is just unfair because international films are better than American movies. Most of the time. I'll give this a 92 out of 100. The fifth nomination is Dune, directed by Denis Villeneuve and starring everyone. Dune is a sci-fi epic that tells of an outcast prince and a valuable dust. I waited over a year for this film to release. The trailer was released in September of 2020. It was, however, worth the wait. The film is a staggering cinematic masterpiece. This is what cinema should be about. The film is full of cinematic moments that should shake the casual moviegoer's notion of cinema. The insane spectacle of the giant worms, the chaotic dust storm, and the epic invasion of Arrakis. To experience it in the cinema will make your hairs grow on end while your mouth is left agape. This is a masterpiece. 95 out of 100. The sixth film is King Richard. No, not the guy under Sainsbury's car park. This film is about Vanessa and Serena Williams' journey to their tennis stardom. It is told through the perspective of their father, Richard Williams, played by Will Smith. As much as the trailer seems like over-emotional, vomit-inducing Oscar bait, it is really not. This film is what a biopic should aim to be. Hear me out. The film is about how to deal with failure. It doesn't focus on success and winning, instead it focuses on the losses, the struggles, and the not fairs, and the ability to overcome. The message is more important than the feel-good factor, which is admirable. The other unique aspect is that a normal biopic would have focused on the sisters. Here you see the action through the father's eyes and through the father's headstrong yet debatably problematic ideology. I like the questions the film asks, as well as the journey it takes us on, so I'll give this an 84 out of 100. The seventh film is Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza. It's a film about the relationship between a 15-year-old boy and a 25-year-old girl in Los Angeles in the early 1970s. For me, the first love relationship is secondary to the experience of being in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie set in 1970s LA. The magical cinematography and the slick camera work adds to the mise-en-scene to create an exciting cinematic world. Then the characters find themselves in these bizarre situations with peculiar characters. This is Paul Thomas Anderson at his best. What isn't his best is the love story. It's different enough to be better than average, but not impressive enough to be notable. All in all, this film is impressive, enjoyable, and a fascinating historical snapshot. so I'll give it an 85 out of 100. The 8th movie is Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley. Set in the 1940s USA, a low-ranking carnival employee progresses his career to an immoral psychic. The story is about the rise and fall of a seedy character in an unsettling world. The creepy carnival and some of the strange characters that inhabit it is incredibly dark and unnerving. The twisted world feels like the only way to get ahead is to be immoral and unethical, which is why Bradley Cooper's protagonist is not only terrible, but also understandable, and that makes us, the viewer, feel so weird. This film is a cinematic achievement. Del Toro has done a good job on this one. From the cinematography to the acting, this is a whole nother world. So an 80 out of 100 for me. The 9th movie is The Power of the Dog. A man adapts to life with his brother's crazy new wife and her awkward son. Also, the film is set in the Old West, and he is a rancher with respect and maybe desire for male Homo sapiens. Jane Campion is a directorial auteur. She is the most acclaimed female director in critic circles. The film feels like the result of her career, the most perfect movie that she could make. Every frame is a picture, every character movement is intentional yet ambiguous, every second has its purpose. Watching Power the Dog is like witnessing a work of art. The acting, cinematography, camera work are all amazing, but it is the way it is directed and edited together that makes the whole viewing special, uncomfortable, odd, and atmospheric. It's a tour de force, and I give it a 95 out of 100. The final movie is Steven Spielberg's remake of West Side Story. It's Romeo and Juliet, but set in New York, where Juliet is Puerto Rican and Romeo is a Yankee. The film is updated to the modern setting. There's really nothing more to say. It's passable. The acting is good, the songs are still good, the dancing is good, it doesn't do enough, and the original is still the better movie, so why remake it? I give it a 60 out of 100. So here is the full list. The Oscars ceremony starts tomorrow. People say that CODA will win over Power of the Dog. If that happens, it would be a disappointment. It's telling future filmmakers to be safe and basic. Let's hope for a better result than that. Okay, that is the end of the video.